consecuencias.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. I'm Nick, and unfortunately right now with me is not TJ or Anthony because they're running a little late. That's all actually my fault. I was running a little late with the things that I needed to get done, and it kind of put them on a little bit of a delay, but I'm here to talk to you for 5 seconds until they log in about everything New York related. Do you ever just have a bad kind of moment where you're just like, you do something different? And because you do something different, it kind of changes like everything. I feel like that's my life right now. Like you just, let's say you always wake up on the left side of the bed and now you woke up on the right side of the bed and you stub your toe and it ruins your day. That's what just happened to me. And, but I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to keep it going strong for everybody out there in entertainment land. I hope you caught the show that we did yesterday with the, Wrestling Addicts. I was on that show over there with Matt. We were discussing SummerSlam, and we had a good time talking about that for a bit. This week, we're going to be discussing things like the MLB Home Run Derby, as well as the All-Star Game. Big news for the Jets, big news for the Giants, and a lot of fights. For major NFL, I take it back. I was going to say Major League Baseball. That is not true. It was a lot of fights between veterans and retired players. Not necessarily veterans, but retired players getting into arguments via Twitter. And I got to be honest with you, like I was not a big proponent of Twitter before. For the most part, we started this podcast. I had Twitter and then I disabled Twitter because I was like, why do I need to use this? And then all of a sudden it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I have to be on Twitter because when you watch ESPN, when you watch something like that, the first thing they say is via Twitter, you're going to find out news. If you're a sports fan, you will find out news on Twitter before you find out news anywhere else. So if you're a sports fan and you're not on Twitter, I would advise you to get on Twitter as quickly as possible because Twitter is where you're going to get your news up front. And it's where you get a lot of speculatory news as well, where you see somebody changes their status from being a player for one team. Like it says, hey, I'm the outfielder for that team. And then tomorrow it doesn't say that anymore. You're like, wait a second, hold on. Did they stop working for that franchise? And it's a great question. And usually it's pretty on par with what's going on in the world as far as sports are concerned, because the athletes are going to start using, not going to start, athletes have been using social media to fight their contract battles for them. And it's been a normal thing. And we saw that today with certain players. But while I sit here and vamp, waiting for TJ and Anthony to hopefully log in as soon as possible, it was just a wild day for sports. And not day for sports, but it's been a wild minute for sports. But today is actually one of the worst days in the world, or at least for New York, for the New York area. It's one of the worst times where there are no New York sports today. Hockey is over. Basketball is over. Football obviously has been over since a few months ago. And right now it's the All-Star break for baseball, so there is no baseball. So there are no New York sports going on right now, as far as I know. It's a Thursday. Generally speaking, they don't start series in baseball on a Thursday. So I am sitting here in the corner of my eye watching pickleball on MSG, the San Clemente tournament. And I'm sorry, but pickleball looks an awful lot like tennis. And I don't get it. For those of you that are pickleball fans, I'm sure it makes sense to you because there's a slight difference between pickleball and tennis. Like I guess you can't spike because I'm watching these guys kind of take huge swings at or take some light swings at serving. You're not acing anybody from behind that line. And it looks like the court might be a little bit smaller. Oh, it's actually a lot of bit smaller. But at the same token, like I'm kind of sitting here going like, why don't I just watch tennis? I can watch doubles and tennis and get the same satisfaction as watching pickleball and MSG. Koamato and Tardio versus Dizon and Loong. Not sure. It's Loong. But yeah, tough time All-Star break. But you know what? The All-Star break, the Midsummer Classic, as it's known, is really good stuff. Like the All-Star game is kind of like where we get the whole Boys of Summer mindset from, right? Like the Boys of Summer. And thank God it's been 6 minutes and 50 seconds, almost 7 minutes, but I've got TJ here with me to back me up. Scoreboard Addicts United. Clap it up for TJ. And again, I just want to point out, this is my fault. My responsibility to send out the link to get everybody into the podcast. And I was running late today, had some trouble, getting home. I was out doing a work thing and got a little hung up. So I was
going to say, the last time I got a round of applause like that was when I admitted in front of a whole bunch of people that I had a alcohol dependency. And I was confused by their claps because I wasn't saying I was stopping.
Cheers, Gov.
Cheers. So I'm sorry I interrupted your spiel, Boys of Summer. I'm assuming we're talking about the American pastime of baseball.
Yeah, we are. All
right.
Interesting time for baseball right now, especially in New York.
It's funny. I think it's interesting because everybody is absolutely angry or embarrassed or a mix of both.
If you're a Yankee fan, absolutely. You're a little bit angry, a little embarrassed. There are some people who don't care one way or another, and those are the people that I think aren't paying attention.
Yeah, a little bit. So, I guess we could jump right into the nonsense of putting an ad on your jersey, right? Your uniform.
Before we get into the nonsense, I love that so much. I clap the whole time. It's great.
Yeah. So, jumping right in before we get into the nitty gritty of standings and wins and losses and Yankees, Mets, and
it's the break. We don't have to talk about standings right now. I think everybody knows where it is. It's the break.
It's pretty bad at the break. Definitely a lot lower than both teams expected. I don't know who's going to be more disappointed. But before we get there, the Yankees decide to jump on board with the ad space on the uniforms, and it just increases, I would say, your and I dislike for the way the Yankees are run as an organization. Hal Steinbrenner at the helm, just greedy, money-hungry nonsense. It irritated me the most. I got irritated at first, and I think we both kind of vented on Twitter at the same time and interacted with the same people. The thing that pissed me off first is the fact that the Yankees don't allow you to have long hair or facial hair, or essentially take away the ability to do what you want, a little bit of freedom, if you will, because it's not professional. Yet pimping yourself out, right? It's you want to have that. The Yankees organization wants to be portrayed a certain way, and apparently in 2023, that means portraying yourself as a billboard on the side of I-95.
You know what? And I think that's what bothers me the most is the hypocrisy of it all. So you're telling me that Babe Ruth did not deserve his name on a jersey. You're telling me that Joe DiMaggio did not deserve his name on a Yankee jersey. You're telling me that Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford and Yogi Berra did not deserve their names on a Yankee jersey, and that Derek Jeter or Don Mattingly or Willie Randolph or any of the numerous countless Yankee captains did not deserve their names on a jersey, or Aaron Judge for that matter. They don't deserve their names on a jersey. But Cornelius Vanderstar, he gets to be the first person, right, with his name on the jersey. George Steinbrenner died, and it didn't say Steinbrenner anywhere on that jersey.
Yeah.
But Cornelius Vanderstar gets his last name on a Yankee jersey before anybody who's meant monumentous amounts to the franchise. This person, all they did was purchase. And I can't tell you more as a Yankee fan. I hope that insurance company, whom I've never heard of ever, I hope they go out of business. I hope they go bankrupt and they lose every cent of their money because shame on them for even approaching the Yankees and any business for that matter. And first of all, before we continue, I just want to say fuck Howie Rose. And I understand that some Rangers fans might be like, "How could you say that?" Simple.
It's
Howie Rose on fucking Tuesday was the All-Star game.
Yep.
On Tuesday said that MLB was just doing a cash grab to create All-Star game jerseys that all the fans seem to hate. All the fans hated the All-Star jerseys, and we'll get into the All-Star game shortly. And Howie Rose decided to be the guy to come out, and because he's a fucking Mets fucking shill and a fucking loser, because that's what the Mets and their fucking ilk are, decided to come out and talk about Yankee shit. And he said something, and I'll pull it up in a second, and I'll read it verbatim, what exactly it is he said. Basically saying like Yankee fans, calm the fuck down. Like your team's not too good to have ads on their uniform, because Mets fans, obviously if you're a Met fan, you know that the Mets have an ugly ass fucking advertisement on their uniform. And what the other thing that kind of ticks me off is the whole concept of a corporate sponsor. They're not a sponsor. It's a fucking ad. A sponsor is for a little league team that can't afford fucking gloves and cleats and shit like that. You get a sponsor. They pay for your cleats. You wear a patch on their shoulder. When we played men's league baseball, we had a sponsor to pay for our fees so that we wouldn't have to pay so much to be a part of the league. The Yankees, the most rich fucking franchise in America, I believe, don't need a fucking sponsor. They don't. They're worth $5.8 billion, about like 5% of which, or 2.5% of which, I can't do the math right now, is dedicated to payroll for the salary for their players. It used to be 10%. Now it's like 5% because their owner is a piece of shit, and his father would be disgusted with his existence on the planet Earth because he gives a fuck. He does not give a fuck about winning at all. Howie Rose had the audacity to sit there and be like, "Oh, Yankee fans, calm the fuck down." He said, "Oh, please, can we stop with this sanctimonious garbage about the Yankees somehow being above every MLB initiative to create more revenue? They're a business designed to maximize profit, just like 29 other teams. The holier-than-thou romanticism is a joke. Get over it." In the same fucking breath that he said some stupid ass shit like that, he had the audacity to sit there and say that the All-Star game jerseys are fucking a joke and it's just a cash grab by MLB, and that they should listen to the fans about how the fans hate the All-Star game jersey. So in one hand, you're sitting there saying Yankee fans need to get over it because the Yankee fans don't like the fucking patch. They don't. And on the other hand, you're saying MLB needs to listen to the fans. Howie Rose, you're a fucking joke. Go pay attention to the shit that's going on in Queens because it's a massacre. All right? Shut the fuck up. Pay attention to Queens shit. Don't worry about what's going on in the Bronx. The Bronx wins World Series. The Mets wouldn't know about any of that for 37 years. Yeah, 37 years.
So I refuse to interrupt. And my father actually texted me that you are absolutely on fire. I texted him back. Comment on YouTube,
Comment on YouTube.
Right? Get some interactions. But either way, he wanted to compliment you, and I agree, dude. There's everything you just said. I could just echo back at you. I'm just gonna parrot it back at you because I agree. It's a joke. The Yankees as an organization are a joke since George died. The Yankees were never about cash grabs. They were about winning championships. They were about spending money to win championships, winning at all costs, and that's why Yankee fans have that diehard attitude towards their team and the love for their team, and it's starting to dissipate. And it's funny. I was interacting with Skip on the Twitters, if you will, the Yankees Twitterverse, and he was like, "Yo, dude, your vitriol should be with the fact that the team is an absolute joke." And I said, "Me and Nick were all over that at the start of the year. We absolutely shit on Boone and Cashman having the audacity to come out and tell us that IKF and Donaldson are everyday starters and they have nothing but confidence in them and they feel that they're going to be successful." And it's just like, so you're going to put that team out there and then fucking lie to our faces about it on top of it as if everybody here is stupid. Like, and then they have the audacity to just keep it rolling with this, right? They're worried about their spending. We couldn't go after Soto. It's not something the Yankees needed to do because why? Because like assholes, fans still show up, and this insurance group will still pay $30 million a year to have their patch put on the sleeve of the jersey. They are satisfied with just having a team show up at the ballpark and taking money from fans. It doesn't matter if they win or lose. It's a business at this point. And Howie Rose, shame on him because it's a kid's game. It's not a business. It happens to be a business, and I very much believe in capitalism. But to sit there and say baseball as a whole and the love of the fan base, right, that's just a business. We really, us as fans, we shouldn't give a fuck about the day-to-day wins, losses, and the minutia of actually playing the game and the heart and the soul that should go into it, right, and the respect and reverence that the team should have for the game itself. No, we should just be satisfied that the team is profitable as if we see any of that money. Who gives a fuck? I would rather you guys lose money and win games. I'd rather you guys have to have fucking fundraisers every year, a golf tournament every weekend, and try to get our money that way, but because you're just winning at all costs. I'll show up. I'll dump money into a team like that. But you're absolutely right. George would absolutely spit on Hal at this point. I think he would just, beyond rolling over in his grave, I think he'd pick up that casket of his and ask to be shot to the fucking moon. Why spend time on this planet right now? Because this is not the Yankees organization that he put all that money and time and effort into.
Hey, you know what? The other thing that bothers me is that, Howie Rose pisses me off because mind your fucking business. On top of you being a fucking hypocrite, because you're going to sit there and tell MLB, Major League Baseball, as an organization to listen to the fans, but obviously the Yankee fans don't like this fucking sellout that they did, right? And then you're going to sit there and say, Yankee fans, you need to calm the fuck down. Like, dude, like, shut the fuck up. Just because your franchise has no history at all whatsoever, to the point where you've built a stadium that is a monument to the Dodgers, a franchise that still exists to this day. Like that, the Dodgers didn't go anywhere. I mean, other than LA, they still exist. So basically, whenever the Dodgers go to the Mets to play away games, they're playing a home game. They're playing at their old stadium with a monument to their old player. That's fucking pathetic. It really is. It's fucking sad.
I was going to say, I think Harry Rose is just at this point, everybody around the Mets organization just treats it as the circus it is and loves jumping in on the drama and then is trying to bring some of that drama over to the New York Yankees. It's like, no. Our drama consists of fucking winning ball games. And when the team sucks, us absolutely letting the players know that they suck. And then when one of them has a fucking fit a la Joey Gallo, like, oh, they just don't appreciate me. Like, yeah, no shit. That's like saying like, oh yeah, I didn't appreciate stepping in that pile of shit, but one day, right? I'll appreciate that pile of shit getting all over my shoes. It's like that. That's the business of baseball for the New York Yankees. It's win games, get championships, more rings than fingers and toes, and just keep going after that so we can just rub it in everybody's face, including the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. But no, now everything in baseball is a business, and Howie Rose thinks it's great to fucking try to create drama.
No, he just doesn't like the Yankees. That's what it comes down to. Because how could you sit there and blame MLB for having a jersey for the All-Star game and call it a cash grab, but the Yankees putting a patch on the jersey that nobody wants. None of the fans want. And not call it the same exact thing. I don't care. Oh, well, they're not changing the uniform. Yes, the fuck they are. The Yankees, to the point where when Majestic was the maker of Major League Baseball uniforms, the Yankees were like, we're not putting a fucking Majestic logo on our fucking uniforms. Because George was alive when they did that shit. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you, George sacrificed a little bit of money to have Yankee jerseys made differently, where there was no fucking Majestic logo on a Yankee jersey at that time. The only thing that you would ever see on a Yankee jersey during George's fucking tenure would be a deceased player's number. You would, I believe, you saw the opening day patch for the Yankees. I have that jersey, and you also saw the All-Star Game jersey, the All-Star Game patch. On the same jersey. It was Yankee themed because the All-Star Game was at Yankee Stadium that year. And right. You might have seen like the MLB 50th anniversary patch way back when. It was gold. It was the MLB logo. It was gold. And maybe a few other patches that were but none of them were like, hey, we're going to make money off this patch.
It's a little ridiculous, dude.
And you're at least.
Right. The crazy part is the casual fan being like, well, there's ads on NASCAR cars and soccer jerseys are a joke and European hockey is just like a billboard. So why not? And it's like, it's gaudy. It's tacky. It's
always tacky. It's always tacky.
But
when they decided to put Atlantic Health on their practice jerseys, I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. They're going to have fucking Tampax fucking advertisements on their jerseys now.
And it's sad because you know what? Nobody really gives a shit about the billboards and signs in the outfield and along the wall. I mean, I don't think really we gave enough credence to the fact that they were just like superimposing digitally, like behind the pitcher's mound an ad or, you know, along the walls or along the net.
On the mound now.
Yeah. And that doesn't really bother me because it doesn't take away from the game at all. But just changing the uniform. So what? So if I want a game authentic jersey, I now have to have that fucking patch on my sleeve. Like, and does the Yankees really need $30 million that bad?
No, they don't. I think it's $20 million a season. And even if it is $20 million per season, like it really isn't.
I'm not shitting on that kind of money though, because that kind of money is outrageous to the average person. But in a $5 billion business, it's not enough to just absolutely disrespect the team.
To me, it's a pimp out, right? You pimped out your traditions.
It's greed
for money. So the question is how much does Garrett Cole or Rodon have to fucking pay to grow a beard and grow long hair?
Yeah.
That because for years I've been told, oh, Yankees don't have fucking beards. Yankees don't have beards. They don't have long hair. Fine. I've always thought that was a stupid fucking rule. I have always thought that was so stupid. As long as you look presentable, there's a ton of guys out there in the fucking world with a beard right now that look like contributing members of society. I understand you don't want Johnny Damon, caveman, Red Sox. You don't want that. I get that. He looked like a fucking
taking that player. They took the beard away and they took a little essence away from Johnny Damon.
I'm just saying is that he looked like a fucking hobo, which is
but he didn't play like a hobo.
You don't want guys looking like a hobo. I get it. I understand that. I'm in the Army. I understand the grooming policy. But just like the Army, I think that fucking Yankees, if they said, hey, listen, you can have a beard, but it has to be tailored a certain way. If it makes the player happy, why the fuck not?
So my question would be, you remember the MLB went out of their way a couple years ago, the anti-smoking, anti-tobacco stuff, and essentially told players like they can't put a tin of dip in their back pocket anymore. Like they don't like that. You can see the circles.
Still chewing it. Can't carry it, but still
you can't carry it in your back pocket because everybody knows what that circle is in your back pocket. And you're, teaching kids to look up to somebody that, does tobacco, blah, 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 blah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If Skull would have approached the Yankees and said, hey, here's $40 million. I would love to think that they'd be smart enough to be like, nah, that's not what we're about. But Hal might be sitting there fucking counting the shekels like, ooh, that's fine.
I promise you that if Skull or fucking or any of the other fucking companies.
Philip Morris, anybody,
any of them decided to do that,
the best.
They would do it, but MLB would not allow it. Right now, if fucking Philip Morris through via Newport or fucking Marlboro approach the Yankees, I mean, they used to have the advertisements in the fucking back.
Yeah.
Along with Rheingold and fucking Budweiser.
Yep. Marlboro Red in the back.
They used to be there. Now it's Timex and fucking T-Mobile and State Farm, but it used to be fucking Marlboro. It used to be fucking Newport.
And my question was, when we were talking about this, does that company really make $30 million more in profit or $20 million more in profit, whatever it is, because their name is on a jersey? Because absolutely me and you were like pissed off at this point. I think every Yankee fan would be like, yo, fuck you.
I promise that I will not fucking ever do business with that company. And here's Big Tom. Evening, gents. Nick, you're on fire tonight, my man. I agree wholeheartedly with you and the patches. Total sellouts. Advertising on the walls were classic in the old days. And he's right.
Yeah, nobody beats the Wiz.
And back in the day, they had Joe Cool Camel cigarettes in the back of Yankee Stadium via
way back.
Big Tom. Back when you could have Joe Cool. I remember being a kid and seeing advertisements of Joe Cool. And I remember them outlawing it because they were like, yeah, we're not going to advertise a cartoon to sell cigarettes. I remember that. I distinctly remember watching Joe Cool sell Camel cigarettes, playing saxophone as a child. And he was the coolest motherfucker in the world, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, it's still better than a jersey patch.
It's the hypocrisy. So does that mean that if Rodon and fucking Garrett Cole pay $10 million to the Yankees, they can grow beards and fucking have long hair? You're literally prostituting yourself.
So my question is, now, let's say I get myself in a position, Aaron Judge's backup, whatever. I get out there on the field, right? All of a sudden, I'm in a starting position, and Viagra comes to me like, yo, you tattoo Viagra across your left cheek. I'll give you $50 million. All right. No big deal. I can get that shit laser removed when all of a sudden I'm moved down to single A. Let's do it. Can the Yankees then turn around and be like, oh, you can bastardize yourself as an ad? Fuck you. You already did our jerseys. Why not? This is my face, right? I'll sell ad space in my face if I want.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a Yankee player, I'd probably cut the fucking patch off my sleeve.
Sliding and tearing it a little bit?
And deal with I would fucking literally before then, I'd sit there with the day we stopped being the CCR Royals. I fucking cut my fucking patch off my sleeve. You're not paying my fucking bills. Fuck you. If I was Aaron Judge, I promise you, if I was Aaron Judge, I'd be like, fuck these people. I don't have my name on this fucking jersey. Nobody else's jersey is gonna have a fucking name. Like, I will not fucking stand for it.
So
from now we're going. That's why the Yankees don't have names on their jerseys. Old school. That's what we've been told for the last 100 years until now, where Hal fucking Steinbrenner, not even a shadow. He's got to have been adopted or fucking, I don't know, adopted. Maybe is a bastard kid. I don't know. He can't
just be trying to tear it down, right?
As George Steinbrenner. And I'm not
beat him a little bit. He's tearing it down.
Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that George Steinbrenner was an amazing fucking owner. I'm not saying that George Steinbrenner was the best owner. I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is that there was never a question about whether or not George Steinbrenner wanted to win.
There was no need for the question. There was other questions.
That was the fucking priority. And Hal Steinbrenner, that's not the priority. The priority for him is making fucking money. That's his only priority. If you think this $20 million that he just fucking got from fucking star fucking insurance, star companies, which I've never heard of until now, right?
Yeah, dude.
If you think that money's going to Otani or Arenado or Soto, you're fucking high. It's going for the SS Chicken Bucket, his next fucking yacht. That's where that money's going. All right? Big Tom Doyle says changing sports. Hockey never had advertising on the boards or the ice. It's all about the dollar. He's 100% correct. And Big Tom also says George was all about championships, period. Because when you're a billionaire and you've already built yourself to that point, the only way to prove to another billionaire that you're fucking the bee's knees in the cat's pajamas is to own a sports franchise and be like, not only am I a billionaire just like you, but my franchise just beat the shit out of your franchise.
It's funny because it used to be that you wanted to win championships because then you could charge a little more for the ad space on your wall, right? So you maybe dump that money into the right places, forget about the patches, win a couple championships, boys. I guarantee you make up a lot more than 30, 40, $50 million a season because you could jack up your rates because you sure as shit jack up the ticket prices every time you win, right? Anytime a pennant hangs in that building and gets raised a new one, tickets go up by like 8%. So, and the funny thing is, I think this opens up to today's day and age, and not to take it down a political way. But what happens if a company sponsors a team and then comes out and says yo, you can't think that you're like a fucking attack helicopter and then claim to be, in school or something like that. And all of a sudden one of these players is like, I can't support a company like that. You can't use my name with that company. I don't support them.
Isn't that what I saw something with the Yankees and the Mets saying something along the lines of there's always a kind of a competition between the Mets and the Yankees. It's friendly-ish. We talk about Citi Field, right? Citi Field's is owned by the Mets-ish, kind of, I guess, but it's sponsored by Citibank. So what happens when Citibank goes out of business as multiple banks? And I know what everybody's saying. Citibank could never go out of business. It's a fucking lie. It's not true, because we're sitting here in a world where many banks went out of business in 2008, 2009, 2007, 2008, 2009. A lot of banks went out of business during that time frame. Not Citi, obviously, not Chase, obviously, but we're talking about a lot of companies that were in the stock market that went out of business, that people were like, oh, they're too big to fail. Like Lehman Brothers, a simple example like that. It was too big to fail, but it failed.
I love that analogy because every time somebody puts that moniker on it, something bad happens. Titanic, the ship that's unsinkable.
Titanic, right? Let's talk about Enron, right? The Astros Stadium was called Enron Field. And then they robbed a whole bunch of people, insider trading, lots of controversy, and they had to change the name of their stadium to Minute Maid Stadium. Now, I understand that the maid is spelled M-A-I-D, like the person that cleans your house. I don't understand how that's better, but somehow it is. Your stadium is called Minute Maid Park or whatever the fuck it's called. Minute Maid. It's made in a minute. It sounds quality to me. I don't know about you guys. It sounds quality. Super quality. You go. I will tell you right now, the San Francisco Giants, I have never been there. I'll be honest with you. I've never been to the Giants Stadium. I do feel that, though, based on an outsider looking into what they have going on over there, I feel like the Giants have a very beautiful stadium from the field perspective, where you can hit a home run into the bay. I think that's fucking gorgeous. It's awesome. I think it's great, right? It's akin to what the Pirates have going on at PNC Park, where you can hit a ball and you can see the water. I think anytime you can see a water or a mountain behind a stadium, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Well, I think, and the fact that you can put the ball in the water and then make the kind of gimmick, but not even a gimmick, something that fans love is, hey, get a kayak and go sit out in the water and just hopefully you can snag a home run. And people do it. People go out of their way to do it.
It's fucking awesome. But point being is that, do you know, and Big Tom says it's called McCovey Cove. That's a fact. It's called McCovey Cove. But do you know what the name of that stadium is anymore? They've changed it 4 times in the 20 years or 23 years that it's been in existence. It started as Pac Bell Park, I believe, Pacific Bell Park. Then it became AT&T. Then it was right now I think it's Oracle Park. But it was something else in between. And I'm sitting there going like, that stadium, as beautiful as an architectural beauty that it is, has had 4 names in 23 years. This is fucking pathetic. You know how many names Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, because the new Yankee Stadium is destined to become Quicken Loans Field at Yankee Stadium or whatever the fuck Hal Steinbrenner and his greedy fucking ass wants to call it. He'll call it fucking, I don't know, Tampax, Maxi Tampon fucking Field at Yankee Stadium or some bullshit like that because he's a fucking rich, fucking selfish piece of shit. And I'm not hating on rich people. I'm hating on him. I just want to point that out. I'm not hating on rich people. If I was rich, I'd try to get richer as well. But I would not sit there as a person, and you and I can kind of relate as a person who have a legacy in the positions that we have taken. Like, I'm a soldier. My father was a soldier. You work for the Department of Sanitation. Your father worked for the Department of Sanitation. We have legacies to carry with us. There are people that know us through our father, or they hear the name and they go, hey, are you related to? So there's a lot that goes along with that as a legacy. You have to sit there and stand a little bit higher. You have to sit there and be a little bit more respectable, because you never want to hear the concept of your father would have done it differently. Because you want to.
I was just about to say, you're supposed to be the person in the room that stands there and says, would my father put up with this shit? Then I'm not either. Not, hey, dude, your father would never do something like that. It doesn't matter. I'm not my father. You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy. If anybody's seen Ford versus Ferrari, there's a scene where they go where the Ferrari owner says to Ford, "You're not George. You're not fucking Henry Ford. You're Henry Ford II." Basically telling him like, "You're not your father. You fucking suck." Yeah. I would never want to be told that as somebody. My father served him. My career to this point is to honor my father, to make sure that whomever thinks about my dad thinks that, oh, he raised his son right. And I'm sure you feel the same way, T. Because your father's a great man. I know your father. I think of him like an uncle, like a great man. I got emotional just thinking about it for a second. Big time. I love you. But point being is that I don't believe that Hal Steinbrenner can be held in the same regard as his father at all. His father cared about winning. He cared about making money. And that's evident by everything that's going on in Yankee Stadium as a business and as a franchise. And that's all I got to say about that. We need to move on to the All-Star game. National League wins for the first time in 11 years. Does it mean anything? Because they had the second lowest ratings in the history of the All-Star game.
I don't think so. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't really paid much attention to baseball this season. Nothing's captivating me. The Yankees are annoying. I was pissed off since the offseason. Nothing excited me. The fact that they wanted to run this team out there and waste our time irritated me right from the get-go. So I really haven't been all about, like, this is one of the worst years as a Yankee fan I've experienced, because I have just no want or need to watch a game. I'll throw it on if nothing else is going on, but guess what? If my son wants to watch some weird YouTube video, yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? So I think that's a lot to do with the Yankees' decision. I think that's a lot to do with just I'm tired of baseball and their bullshit rules and changing the game and the way the game is played. So I think that it's only natural that the ratings are going to drop, right? People are going to be pissy. Nobody's going to like it. And I think that the surprise is the fact that people are surprised. Like, can you not read the room or the last 10 years of optics for your league?
You know, it's a couple of things for me. The All-Star game, I was okay. I was always okay with the All-Star showing up and wearing the All-Star jersey for the home run derby, because it's batting practice. That's what it comes down to. It's batting practice. I don't like them wearing. First of all, the All-Star jersey this year was. It's not that it was a bad jersey. It's that don't wear it in the All-Star game. All of these Nike, City Connect, and all these other jerseys, they make you look like a softball or a little league team. Major League Baseball as professional should only ever wear white pants or gray pants. If you want to sit there and say that baby blue is your away uniform instead of gray, it's a slight baby blue hue. Instead of gray, you wear baby blue. I'm kind of okay with that. I am not okay with, and I'm also okay with the Giants wearing cream. They don't wear white. They wear like a off white that's kind of creamish, which to me kind of signifies like an old baseball. Like you've been wearing that jersey for like 6 weeks and now it's tinted beige because it's got so much
to it. Yeah,
it's got dirt in it.
Weathered.
Weathered. Thank you. It's a weathered look. I can identify with that as a baseball player who does not have a lot of money. My left knee as a baseball player was always slightly tan beige forever. But I don't think I don't think that baseball players should wear a unified league jersey. They didn't make the team playing for the league. They made the team playing for their team to the point where like it's mandatory that every team has to have a representative. I'll be honest with you, some teams don't deserve a representative, and I may have well said that last year at the same time. Big Tom says players represent the team, wear your team uniform, classic. I appreciated it more when they were wearing uniforms that had the 2 stars on the around the MLB logo, because the 2 stars signify that they made the All-Star game. Even if they wanted to give them a jersey that was like their home jersey or away jersey, depending on who's home and who's away, and you put as many stars as they received at All-Star nominations, I think that works too. You know, like, oh, you've been to 20 All-Star games? Give him the motherfucker 20 stars on his hat. Give him 20 stars on his jersey. I don't care. But let him wear the home jersey. People want to see Mike Trout standing next to Garrett Cole in their separate uniforms, but unified in one uniform. Or unified on one team. I think that had a lot to do with it. Like through the years, it is a cash grab. And I understand that, and I will never stand for a cash grab for a rich organization. So somebody like Howie Rose saying that that's a cash grab, but the Yankees getting a cash grab is not okay, is ridiculous. I won't stand for a cash grab for any rich organization. And I'll be honest with you, there are no poor owners. There's just poor owners. And I'll tell you the difference. There are no poor owners in the sense that they are monetarily poor. There are poor owners where they're just fucking shit owners. In the case that they're not poor monetarily, they're just poor as people, poor as owners. But the All-Star game, the National League won. It was kind of boring, honestly. Pitching dominated offense. I did enjoy the players wearing mics in their ears, and they could talk to the announcers. They could talk to each other to a certain degree.
It should be taken as the not serious thing that it is, because nobody's really going all out. You're not going to see
fun.
Layup. You know, yeah, it should be fun. It should be goofy. It should be, you know, not goofy to the way that, like, you know, it's, but you know what I mean. It should be like bringing it back, like your kids playing a game. You get to play with people you never get to play with. You're getting to see all the great players play together. You want there to be some seriousness because, again, you're getting this once a year. You get to see these guys play on a team together. It's like the best of the best, or at least it's supposed to be. So it's supposed to be fun, right? So I like that kind of thing. I like talking. I like goofing around with the announcers or something like that. That's why I love people like A-Rod and even Big Papi, because I like that interaction that they have anytime during the World Series and stuff like that. They mess with the players and they're respected as players themselves, so they can kind of get away with the you know, the ribbing and stuff like that. It's epic. So that's what I like to see. But in reality, there's no hustle. There's no Pete Rose ruined the All-Star game when he absolutely decimated what's his name at the plate.
Ray Fosse.
Yeah, Ray Fosse ended his career essentially. And I feel like that's when they try to like be like, all right, we can't let the All-Star game actually count for anything or matter anymore, because people are getting hurt in games that they're not even getting paid for.
I'll be honest with you. I feel like it happened the year that it ended in a tie.
That's bad.
And one of the All-Star moments that kind of sticks out in my brain is the Torrey Hunter robbing Barry Bonds of a home run.
Yes.
and then Barry running out to center field after I think he either touched second base or was about to touch second base. That ball was hit so high, so far, that by the time Torrey Hunter caught it, Barry Bonds was basically at second base.
Yeah. Barry Bonds isn't digging.
He ran out to center field and picked up Torrey Hunter. That is an iconic moment.
Oh, yeah.
I think this year's All-Star game started off the same way with two great catches by, excuse me if I'm having a brain fart, Randy Arozarena and Adolis, I want to say it was Adolis Garcia, who are both outfielders of Cuban descent. They're Cuban outfielders, although I believe Mexicans want to claim Arozarena right now. Because of the All-Star game, but they're both Garcia plays for the Texas Rangers and Rosarena plays for the Rays, the Rays. And Garrett Cole gave up some shots, and they both I honestly want to say Adolis Garcia, his catch in right field was a little bit more difficult than Rosarena on left. That was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Big Tom says players represent the team, wear your team uniform. It's classic. I agree with him wholeheartedly. Moving kind of backward, I guess. The Home Run Derby happened this weekend, and there was a lot of, Monday. There was a lot of backlash from the fans. And it involves, I want to say, listen, I'm a millennial. I'm not an old man-ish, kind of, I guess. Millennials are old men now. But Gen Z has the mind, the attention span of a flea. And they don't want to watch a 500-foot home run land.
Right.
And that was the biggest complaint about the Home Run Derby this year, was that guys are hitting bombs and they're landing 398 feet down the line, and you didn't see it because he was swinging to 1.3 seconds later, because the All-Star, the Home Run Derby does no longer cares about the distance. I remember watching Barry Bonds, maybe not Barry Bonds, but Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa hit home runs over the Green Monster, and watching it land on I don't know the street named after. I'm sure in Boston it's named after some racist guy that owned the Red Sox in Boston.
I was gonna say, dude, Josh Hamilton, just watching him pound them,
hit the back of Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium.
That shit was special, bro. That run, that one round was just ridiculous. It was like, wait a second, we haven't seen a single ball this year probably go that far in the stadium, and he just put like 7 of them that way.
I in my life, I've never seen a ball land as far as Josh Hamilton put it.
Fucking ridiculous.
My life. I spent from 1994 until 2008, I guess, watching Yankees games at Yankee Stadium, the original Yankee Stadium. I never saw anybody hit a home run back there. I am not that old. I watched games from the 90s until they closed the stadium, and I was at the first game at the new stadium. And I never saw anybody hit a home run beyond the black. And anybody who's an old Yankee fan knows what I'm talking about when I say beyond the black. And it was watching Josh Hamilton put the ball out that way. Wow, impressive. And now you don't see it. You don't get a chance to watch it at all. The guy hits the ball, and immediately you're at something else.
Yeah,
you're at something else immediately. But Home Run Derby, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won the poor format that they have now.
Yeah,
Chris Berman, as Big Tom says, great home run call, Home Run Derby. Boomer is great. Back. You're absolutely right. Big Tom, Chris Berman's a treasure, and we should all love Chris Berman.
the home run derby, the whole format, it's irritating. I don't know what they have to do. Maybe put money into it, and maybe make some kind of like a championship belt and bragging rights, and make something that like means something. Because I want to see dudes like challenge each other throughout the year. Like, yo, dude, I'm just gonna stuff home runs in your face. Like, I don't want people to. I want like 15, 20 guys going to the MLB being like, yo, I'm gonna be part of this. I got a problem with him, and that's the kind of thing that the fans deserve. You want some heat and intensity. Because at this point now, it's just like, especially when Judge was part of the home run derby, it's like, oh, you see, he fucked up his career. Like that, they waited like 2 seconds after it was done to start saying that shit.
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of guys don't do it because they fuck up their career. Real quick, before we get into some further move, we'll talk about basketball. It's not Knicks related, so I won't show the Knicks basketball thing. The first round pick, Wembanyama's security slaps Britney Spears in the face. To try to keep her away from him. She's like 5'3". He's like 7'5". I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're a basketball fan, there's no reason whatsoever. And I'm not a firm believer in the whole don't hit girls thing. I'm an equal opportunity type person to the point where, like, if you're a woman and you pose a threat, or if you're a man and you pose a threat, you get the same beat down. I don't give a fuck. But point being is that she's 5'3" and she tapped him on the shoulder. He's 7'5". She was never a threat at all, and she's fucking Britney Spears. I don't think Britney Spears is taking swings at Victor Wembanyama.
I was gonna say I want to see video, because you know what?
I saw the video.
Did you?
I saw the video. Yeah, I did. And basically she went to go like touch him, and security like muffed her arm to the point where like she hit herself.
Gotcha.
And in my mind, I'm like, dude, A, it's Britney Spears, and B, like, she can't reach his shoulder. He's 7'5".
I was gonna say, because you
hear the background of the video go, bro, that's Britney Spears, and they never turn around and been like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Right? Yeah, that's just ridiculous. But I was gonna say, I want to play devil's advocate a little bit, because the videos that Britney's been putting out lately, she's clearly sick in the head.
You know what?
She's not gone, bro.
She's basically making pop star videos in a non-pop star setting.
I don't know, dude. Like playing with your bikini bottom and dancing weirdly when you don't really.
Do. If she was
she
playing,
really doesn't have the dude. She doesn't have the bikini body anymore. Let's face it. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and say I have a bikini body, but she doesn't have the body for it anymore.
Does this shit. She just does it.
That's what I'm saying. And dude, everybody for the past 15 years, everybody was like, "Yo, Madonna, like, stop, just be 50 something."
But that's not crazy. That's it. That's taking advantage of your craft. That's what you do for a living.
Crazy.
Michael Jackson doing a moonwalk. You can't be like Michael Jackson. You're 60 years old. You can't moonwalk anymore.
Michael Jackson, I guarantee you, if he gained 200 pounds, he would still moonwalk, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, this guy like he has Teflon shoes. What's going on?"
I was just in Vegas. Nobody's sitting there saying like, Elvis, you should have stopped fucking humping the air when you were fat wearing the fucking jumpsuit thinking
time out. That's different. That made it better. That made it so much better. You can't make that comparison. It made it so much better. Dude, fat Elvis is on stage because he's locked in Las Vegas, essentially like Britney was, just like sweating around the stage. Like he wasn't even doing any more like karate poses. It was just him breathing, bro.
We're moving on. All right, a lot of news in the NFL, but we got to get to the NHL as well. Real fast, real furious. The Jets signed Quinnen Williams today to a 4-year contract. There had been a bit of a contract stalwart for a couple of months with regard to the amount of years that that Quinnen was requesting. And I'm going to be honest with you for 2 seconds. Like, I understand and I appreciate Quinnen Williams's belief in himself as a player. He's basically saying, like, I believe that in 5 years I will be more valuable than I am today. But in my mind, you're putting a lot of the Jets wanted to give him 5 years and more money, and he was like, no, I want 4 years, $96 million, $66 million guaranteed, which is what he got. I'm not saying that's what he wanted. That's what he got. Obviously, there's negotiations that go along with all of it. Long and short of it is that That's what he got. You know what? Good for him. I'm glad to have him as a Jets fan. I'm glad to have him. He's a great player. He's the second highest defensive tackle paid in the league. And good for Quinnen. But that fifth or sixth year that would have been worth more money might have been worth it, depending on, especially with the injury rate with NFL players.
Right. Yeah, he's betting on himself, which is fine. I like it. It's just don't be one of those guys that complains at the end or tries to be like, this is bullshit. You got to pay me the right wage. If it doesn't work out, bro, in that fifth year, you end up losing money. It's on you.
100%. In other Jets news, Asante Samuel, former cornerback of the New England Patriots, excuse me, I have the hiccups, has decided to wage war on Jets cornerbacks and basically has said that he was a better football player than Darrelle Revis. I don't think we need to spend more time on this than we are. Darrelle Revis will be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in a short amount of time. Asante Samuel won't.
No, clowns. You can't, dude. You can't. You want to go after somebody, go after a player that's active, not somebody in the like God tier. It's stupid.
So basically, he went after Sauce Gardner, failed, and then was like, "Well, I was better than Revis too." And then in the all-time, he ranked his own mindset of cornerbacks and decided to rank himself number one overall, which I appreciate the confidence, but at the same time, I love Chad Ochocinco, and they rated the top 5 Cincinnati Bengals of the 2000s, and he was like, Corey Dillon deserves to be in there more than I do. And I love Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, for being humble in that moment, and he put to shine on somebody else.
We both know it's a lie, though.
It is. It's a lie. Corey Dillon was only there for like 3 or 4 years as a Bengal during the 2000s, as opposed to Ochocinco, who is there for a good chunk. But I love Chad Johnson for just bringing that up.
Of course.
And good for him for trying to shine some light on other players. Kadarius Toney, and I'm not going to show the clip because we're running out of time, but Kadarius Toney is sitting there basically attacking Giants fans. Crazy.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
He's
trash, dude. He's trash. Let's just call it what it is. He's gutter trash, whatever.
Well,
fuck you. I won't spend time on him anymore.
At this point, it's gotten to the point where he's blaming other. I got hacked, which is a cute statement. I don't believe that he did.
He's just an immature asshole, and he has that mentality of let me run my mouth to everybody because I don't know, insecurities.
But in other news, the Rangers. Let's talk about the Rangers real quick.
So real quick, the Rangers. As of right now, the additions are going to be Blake Wheeler, Nick Bonino, Tyler Pitlick, Alex Belzile, I don't know, Eric Gustafson, Connor McKay, and Jonathan Quick. I like that pickup of Jonathan Quick, dude, a couple days ago. Not bad for a backup. It's pretty damn good. Right now. Yeah. So, and then right now, obviously, you just got Tarasenko, Kane, Mott, Mikula, and Yaroslav Halak on the outs or going. It would have been nice to see the Rangers make a move to get Tarasenko, keep Tarasenko. I really don't care about the Kane, but you never know. We'll see, but I don't think it's happening.
Rangers also signed Keandre Miller to a 2-year extension. I believe the deal was something like $4.5 million. He's making something like 2 and change over the course of that 2-year extension. I believe, looking at the extension offhand, I don't know the numbers exactly off the back of my head. They looked fair.
It's not that it's not fair. I just don't think the Rangers have so much money tied up in defense with Trouba already and Keandre after last season. If they would have let him go and let some little younger guy, I don't want to say little, younger guy, some new guy, some rookie come up and take his place for a third of the price or a quarter of the price, that would have been good because we got a lot of talent left in the youth and we're going to have to pay a lot of people.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like Keandre kind of took a step back last year, and you kind of got to sit there and wonder whether or not that was coach related. I'm not going to sit here and shit on Turk. I'm not going to do it. I hope that moving forward we have a brighter future as Ranger fans, but I don't know, and I'm not going to blame Keandre either. He's a young man, and I would hate to see him move on to another franchise and become a Fox kind of player because he does have the physical attribute.
He has the ability, dude. He's a tremendous athlete.
I love his length.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is what it is. He took a step back this year. I hope that was just a 1-year fluke. You know what I mean?
I agree. I'm not mad at the contract, and I think that's the biggest thing.
I'm not happy considering how we got here from last year.
No, not at all. And I'm going to hope that the new coach takes over and restores the performances of previous years. But all that being said, that's all we have for you this week. There's a lot of baseball, but it's baseball season, so that kind of happens. But that's all we got for you this week. I'm Nick. That's TJ, and we are the Scoreboard Addicts, and we'll catch you again next week.